When you think of Asia, what comes to mind? Probably the Great Wall, maybe Mount Everest, right? It's the world's biggest continent after all. But what if I told you its geography is hiding secrets that will completely blow your mind? We're talking about mountains that are literally growing taller every year, borders that create bizarre geographical puzzles, and a single glacier that's longer than the entire city of Los Angeles. Today, we're digging into 25 facts that will change how you see Asia. Let's get into it. The extremes of elevation and climate equals. Number 1. Let's start with a fact that shows just how extreme Asia is. It's home to both the highest and lowest points on the entire planet. You've got Mount Everest in the Himalayas, soaring to a dizzying 8,848.86 meters. That's over 29,000 feet above sea level. At the same time, the shore of the Dead Sea sits at the Earth's lowest land elevation, more than 430 meters below sea level. That means Asia has the single greatest land-based altitude change you can find anywhere on Earth. Number 2. The continent's extremes aren't just about height. They're also about temperature. Asia deals with some of the most insane temperature swings imaginable. Take the Gobi Desert in China and Mongolia. In the summer, temperatures can hit a scorching 45 degrees Celsius or 113 Fahrenheit. But in the winter, that same spot can plummet to a brutal minus 40 Celsius. That's an 85-degree swing, making it one of the most unforgiving climates in the world. Number 3. Speaking of cold, you might have heard that the coldest inhabited place on Earth is the village of Oymyakon in Siberia, known as the Pole of Cold. It famously hit minus 67.7 Celsius or minus 90 Fahrenheit back in 1933. But fun fact, the official record for the coldest permanently inhabited settlement actually belongs to the nearby town of Verkhoyansk, which recorded minus 67.8 Celsius way back in 1892. And the weirdest part? The name Oymyakon ironically means non-freezing water, thanks to a local thermal spring that never freezes over. Number 4. Now, let's flip to the other side of the thermometer. While Siberia is freezing, huge parts of Southeast Asia, like Indonesia and the Philippines, are sitting right on the equator. This means they get a year-round tropical climate with almost no change in temperature. It's a massive contrast to the brutal seasons happening just a few thousand kilometers to the north. Number 5. The sheer size of Asia is tough to wrap your head around. The continent is home to 48 countries, according to the United Nations, and that's not even counting the transcontinental ones. That means Asia holds nearly a quarter of all the world's countries, spread across everything from Arctic tundra in Russia to lush rainforests in Malaysia. The mighty and moving Himalayas. Number 6. We all know the Himalayas are tall, but did you know they're still growing? The whole mountain range is getting shoved upwards as the Indian and Eurasian tectonic plates crash into each other. Mount Everest itself grows about 4 millimeters taller every single year, and the range as a whole rises about 5 millimeters annually. All that constant movement is also why the region is so prone to earthquakes. Number 7. The power of this tectonic collision is almost impossible to imagine. The Indian plate is still ramming northward into the Eurasian plate at about 5 to 6.7 centimeters per year. Scientists figure that over the next 10 million years, it will push another 1,500 kilometers into Asia. This is the force that created the entire Tibetan Plateau and continues to crumple the Earth's crust, making the Himalayas the youngest and most active major mountain range on the planet. Number 8. The Himalayas aren't just one long mountain chain. They're a massive system that stretches 2,400 kilometers, or 1,500 miles, across 5 countries: Pakistan, India, China, Nepal, and Bhutan. For thousands of years, this colossal wall of rock and ice was a natural fortress, stopping large-scale invasions from Central Asia into India and allowing very different cultures to develop on each side. Number 9. This region has an unbelievable monopoly on height. Of the 10 highest peaks on Earth, All 10 of them are located in the Greater Himalayan region, which includes the neighboring Karakoram range. In fact, there are over 100 mountains in the Himalayas that top 7,200 meters, an elevation that makes the highest peaks on other continents look tiny. Number 10. A huge portion of the world's population gets its drinking water from the Himalayas. 3 of Asia's most important rivers, the Indus, the Ganges, and the Brahmaputra, all start in the Himalayan snow and ice. The area these rivers support is home to more than 600 million people, which means the health of these glaciers is a life or death issue for about 1/10 of all humanity. Number 11. In a remote corner of northern Pakistan, near a town called Gilgit, something incredible happens. 3 of the world's mightiest mountain ranges, the Himalayas, the Karakoram, and the Hindu Kush, all smash together at one single point. This geological theme park is a zone of incredible tectonic stress, creating a landscape that is spectacularly rugged and constantly changing. Borders forged by geography and war. 12. The Himalayas aren't just a natural wonder. They're also the setting for one of the planet's most complicated border disputes. The Kashmir region, tucked into the western Himalayas, is claimed by India, Pakistan, and China. Mountain passes that were strategic military routes for centuries are still heavily militarized today, making these mountains both a barrier and a battleground. 13. In Southeast Asia, geography has shaped countries in a totally different way. Think of mountain ranges spreading south from the Tibetan Plateau like fingers on a hand. These ranges, like the Annamite Range, naturally separate different nations and ethnic groups. The Annamite Range, for example, creates a natural border between Laos and Vietnam, and was a major strategic feature during the Vietnam War, helping to isolate communities on either side. 14. One of the most interesting geographical spots in Asia is the Isthmus of Kra on the Thai Peninsula. At its narrowest point, this little strip of land is only 44 kilometers, or 27 miles, wide. For centuries, people have talked about building a canal right through it. This would create a massive shortcut for ships, completely redrawing global trade routes by bypassing the busy Strait of Malacca and proving how a tiny piece of land can have immense global power. All right, we're more than halfway through, and the facts are only getting crazier. If you're enjoying this deep dive into Asia's hidden geography, do us a quick favor and hit that subscribe button. It really helps us make more videos just like this one. Now, let's get back to it. Water, ice, and sand. 15. Hidden in Tajikistan's Pamir Mountains is a river of ice so huge it's hard to believe it's real. The Fedchenko Glacier is the longest glacier in the world outside of the polar regions, stretching for an incredible 77 kilometers, or 48 miles. That's longer than the drive from one end of Los Angeles to the other. It's so remote that very few people have ever seen it, but its meltwater is a critical lifeline for Central Asia. 16. Asia is also home to the world's deepest and oldest lake. Lake Baikal in Siberia is an absolute monster. It's 1,642 meters deep, over a mile, and its bottom is more than 1,186 meters below sea level. This one lake is so massive that it holds about 20% of all the world's unfrozen fresh surface water. 17. Over in the Himalayas, there's a river gorge so deep it makes the Grand Canyon look like a ditch. The Yarlung Changpo Grand Canyon in Tibet is widely considered the deepest canyon in the world. As the river carves through the mountains, it creates a gorge that in some places is over 6,000 meters deep. That's more than 3 times deeper than the Grand Canyon. 18. Not all of Asia's wonders are made of rock and ice. Some are made of sand that actually sings. In certain deserts across Central Asia, you can find what are called singing dunes. When the wind blows just right, or when sand avalanches down the side, the dunes let out a deep, booming hum that you can hear for miles. It's an eerie, natural music caused by the friction of billions of grains of sand rubbing together. 19. Asia's coastline is just as impressive as its mountains. The continent has the longest coastline in the world, running for about 62,800 kilometers. In some parts of Southeast Asia, you'll find drowned shores, where the land has slowly sunk and been swallowed by the sea. This creates these incredibly intricate patterns of islands and bays, shaped by both the sinking land and the coral reefs growing on top of it. 20. A huge part of Asia sits on the Ring of Fire, so you'd expect volcanoes everywhere. But one major region is surprisingly quiet. Mainland Southeast Asia, countries like Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam, has almost no active volcanoes. That's because it sits on a much more stable piece of the Eurasian plate, unlike its island neighbors like Indonesia and the Philippines, which are volcanic hotspots. Human history carved into the land. 21. The famous Khyber Pass, connecting modern-day Afghanistan and Pakistan, isn't just a path through the mountains, it's a corridor of history. For thousands of years, this was the main superhighway for invasions into the Indian subcontinent. Armies led by Alexander the Great, Genghis Khan, and Babur, the founder of the Mughal Empire, all marched through this exact pass to change history. 22. The Tibetan Plateau, nicknamed the Roof of the World, is the highest and largest plateau on Earth, with an average elevation over 4,500 meters. The only reason it exists is because the Himalayas create a massive rain shadow. The towering mountains block all the monsoon moisture, leaving the plateau behind them incredibly dry and cold. 23. At the far eastern end of the Himalayas, there's a single jagged mountain named Namcha Barwa that acts like a giant anchor for the entire range. This peak forces the massive Yarlung Tsangpo River to make a crazy hairpin turn around it before it can flow down into India. It's a stunning feature that perfectly mirrors what happens at the western end of the Himalayas, where the mountain Nanga Parbat forces the Indus River to do the exact same thing. 24. All the rock and dirt scraped off the growing Himalayas had to end up somewhere. For 50 million years, the Indus, Ganges, and Brahmaputra rivers have been washing all that sediment into the Bay of Bengal. This has created the largest submarine fan on Earth, a gigantic wedge of sediment under the ocean that stretches for thousands of kilometers. It's a hidden monument to the awesome power of erosion. 25. And for our final fact, the continent of Asia is literally being torn apart from below. Geologists now believe that the Indian tectonic plate isn't moving as one solid piece. Instead, the dense lower half seems to be peeling away and sinking into the Earth's mantle, while the lighter top half keeps pushing north. This peeling process is a powerful force that is actively reshaping the future of Asia's geography from deep within the Earth. So, from mountains that are still growing to rivers building new land masses under the sea, Asia's geography is so much more dynamic than we ever imagine. It's a continent that is literally being reshaped right before our eyes. How many of these facts did you already know? And which one was the most surprising? Let us know down in the comments. Thanks for watching.